In a small town nestled in the countryside, there was a family living in a modest house by the edge of a forest. The family consisted of Anna, a single mother, and her 8-year-old son Gabriel. Gabriel was a special child, always with a smile on his face and an unshakable hope despite the hardships they faced. Anna did her best to provide for the household, but circumstances were difficult. Gabriel's father had passed away in an accident when he was still a baby, leaving Anna to raise their son alone. She worked long hours as a seamstress, yet the money barely covered their basic needs. Gabriel understood their situation and never complained, always trying to help his mother in any way he could. Despite their financial struggles, there was one thing that was never lacking in their home: love. Anna and Gabriel shared a strong and special bond. Anna always said that Gabriel was her little light, for he brought joy even in the storms they faced. One particular winter, things became even harder. A severe snowstorm hit the region, cutting off electricity and isolating the small town. The streets were deserted, and Anna and Gabriel's house became cold and dark. Without heating, without light, and with only a few blankets, Anna feared for her son's well-being. That night, while the winds howled outside, Anna lit a candle to illuminate the small room where Gabriel slept. She sat beside him, trying to keep him warm, but her worry was evident. Gabriel, sensing his mother's distress, held her hand and said, "Mommy, don't be afraid. God is with us, and He always takes care of us." Anna smiled, even as tears filled her eyes. Gabriel's faith was like a beacon in the darkness. In that moment, he didn't seem like just a child. He was an angel sent to bring comfort to his mother's heart. The next morning, the storm had ceased, but the snow was so high it was impossible to leave the house. Anna began to worry about their dwindling food supply and how they would survive the coming days. Gabriel, however, remained unfazed. He believed that something good was going to happen. "I know God will help us, Mommy," he said with conviction. Later that day, they heard a knock at the door. Anna opened it and found a stranger, dressed in simple clothes but with a warm smile. He held a basket full of food and blankets. "I heard that you're going through some hard times," said the man. "God touched my heart to bring this to you." Anna was speechless. Tears of gratitude streamed down her face. Gabriel, on the other hand, looked at the man and smiled as if he already knew he would come. "Thank you, sir," Gabriel said. "I knew God was going to help us." The man patted Gabriel's head and replied, "God always hears the prayers of those who have faith." After thanking the man, Anna and Gabriel went inside and sat together, warmed by the blankets and eating a meal that felt like a true feast. Anna couldn't stop looking at Gabriel, marveling at the simple and pure faith her son had. That night, she realized that even in the darkest moments, the light of hope never goes out when you have faith. From that day on, things began to improve. The town came together to help those in need after the storm, and Anna found new friends who supported her. She always told the story of the man who appeared that cold morning, bringing not only supplies but also the certainty that God was watching over her and Gabriel. Gabriel continued to grow, becoming a young man who spread joy and hope wherever he went. He never lost his faith, and Anna always remembered that winter night when the little light of her son's faith illuminated all the darkness around them. Part 2. Gabriel's Journey. Years passed, and Gabriel, now a teenager, became deeply involved in his community. He volunteered for various activities, helped his neighbors, and always looked for ways to do good for others. His kindness and faith made him beloved by all. But life, as it often does, brought new challenges. When Gabriel turned 17, Anna was diagnosed with a serious illness. The news hit them like a bolt of lightning, and the fear of losing his mother shook Gabriel to his core. He, who had always been the strength and light, now faced a different kind of darkness. Anna, noticing her son's anguish, tried to comfort him. "My son, do you remember how we faced that storm together? The light of faith guided us then, and it will guide us now." But Gabriel was confused. He couldn't understand why, after so many years of dedication and faith, his mother, the person he loved most, was now facing something so terrible. He isolated himself, going into the forest that had often been his refuge, where he knelt and prayed, asking God for a miracle. "Lord, you've helped us before. Please don't let me lose my mother now," he pleaded. Days went by, and Anna grew weaker. Gabriel refused to lose hope, but the sadness was overwhelming. One night, after a particularly difficult visit, Gabriel returned home and collapsed to his knees in his room, crying as he hadn't done in years. "Lord, I know you are good and faithful," he prayed. "But why can't I see your hand in this situation? I'm losing faith, Father, and I need your strength." It was then that he felt that familiar warm presence, the same sensation he had experienced when he prayed for his mother's healing. Gabriel realized that regardless of the outcome, he needed to trust God. It wasn't about controlling the situation or ensuring a miracle, but about believing that God was in control, even when the results weren't as he expected. The next day, when he visited Anna, Gabriel noticed a slight change. She was awake and, for the first time in weeks, smiled at him. Although still weak, Anna was out of danger. Gabriel was amazed, and people in the town began talking about another miracle. But for Gabriel, the true miracle was the renewal of his faith. He understood that God's presence isn't just manifested in physical healing, but in the comfort, peace, and strength we receive to face difficulties. With time, Anna fully recovered, and Gabriel never forgot what he had learned. He decided to dedicate his life to helping others find the same light and faith that had guided him. He studied to become a pastor, determined to bring hope and comfort to those facing darkness in their lives. Gabriel grew older, got married, had children, and became known for his kindness and unshakable faith. But he always remembered the small house by the forest, the winter storm, and the night when the faith of a child lit up the darkness. Part 3. The Challenge of Anna Clara. One of the most difficult challenges Gabriel faced was when he met Anna Clara, a 7-year-old girl who attended his church with her grandmother. Anna Clara was a joyful and lively child, but one day her grandmother came to Gabriel with devastating news. Anna Clara had been diagnosed with leukemia. The news shook the entire community. Everyone knew the girl as a ray of sunshine, always running and playing with the other children. Now, seeing that child so full of life battling such a cruel disease brought a heavy silence over the town. Gabriel knew he needed to be strong, both for Anna Clara and her grandmother, who had already lost her daughter, Anna Clara's mother, in an accident years before. The grandmother, who had faced so many losses, was now confronted with the fear of losing her granddaughter, the last person she had. He began visiting Anna Clara regularly in the hospital. She was always smiling, despite the pain and challenges of the treatment. Gabriel would sit by her side, tell stories, and pray with her. Anna Clara loved listening to Gabriel's stories, especially the ones where he talked about the little light that each of us carries in our hearts. "Children like you," he would say, "have a light so strong that it can brighten even the darkest days." Anna Clara liked this idea. She began drawing stars and suns on every paper she could find, saying she wanted to spread light to everyone who was sad. Her drawings became a symbol of hope in the hospital, and soon the walls of her room were covered with bright stars, drawn by her and by other children who joined her mission. The battle against time. However, despite all the love and support, Anna Clara's health continued to decline. Gabriel prayed fervently, asking God for a miracle but also for strength to accept whatever the outcome might be. He was deeply attached to the child and saw in her the same light that he had always carried in his own heart. One winter night, as Gabriel sat by Anna Clara's side, She looked at him with her bright eyes and asked, "Godfather, do you think the stars we draw can really shine in the sky?" Gabriel smiled, holding her small hand. "I believe they can, Ana Clara. The light you spread here will shine in the sky and in the hearts of everyone you've touched." Ana Clara smiled and closed her eyes, falling asleep peacefully. Gabriel stayed by her side for hours, holding her hand, praying silently. That night, he felt an unusual chill in his heart, a premonition of what was to come. The night of the falling star. A few days later, Ana Clara passed away. The town was in mourning, but also in a state of deep reflection. The little girl had touched so many lives with her strength and light that even in the pain of loss, there was a sense of gratitude for having known her. At the funeral, Gabriel spoke about Ana Clara's light, how she had illuminated the lives of everyone around her, and how their mission now was to continue spreading that light. He promised everyone that Ana Clara's memory would live on in the hearts of those she touched, and that they should continue drawing stars, spreading hope and love, especially in the darkest moments. That same night, something extraordinary happened. The sky was clear and full of stars, and then, in the middle of the night, a falling star crossed the sky. Many of the town's residents saw it and were deeply moved. Gabriel, who was in his home praying, looked up at the sky and smiled, feeling a deep connection with Ana Clara. He knew that, somehow, she was sending a signal, telling everyone that her light was still shining, now stronger than ever. The new mission. Ana Clara's death left a deep mark on Gabriel, but it also renewed his mission. He decided to create a project in memory of Ana Clara, called Stars of Hope. The project aimed to bring comfort and joy to hospitalized children, using art, music, and stories to spread light in the darkest places. The community rallied around the project, and soon Stars of Hope began to grow. Volunteers of all ages offered to help, and the project expanded to other cities. Gabriel traveled to hospitals in different regions, bringing with him the message of hope that Ana Clara so strongly believed in. Every star that a child drew, every smile he saw, was a reminder of Ana Clara's legacy and how the light of a small child could change the world. Gabriel taught the children that, just like Ana Clara, they all had a light within them that could shine, no matter how dark the circumstances. The reunion with Helena. During one of his trips, Gabriel was reunited with Helena, Lucas's mother, the boy who had been miraculously cured years before. Lucas was now a healthy young man, full of life and gratitude. He had become one of the most dedicated volunteers in the Stars of Hope project, inspired by the help he had received from Gabriel and by Ana Clara's story. Helena thanked Gabriel for everything he had done for her and Lucas, but Gabriel, with his usual humility, replied, "I didn't do anything but follow what God placed in my heart. The real miracle is the love and faith we share." Lucas, who had heard about Ana Clara, decided to create an annual event in his town in her honor, where children would gather to draw stars and share their stories of hope. The event became a success and spread to several cities, creating a network of light and hope that extended across the country. The last chapter. Years passed, and Gabriel, now elderly, knew that his time in this world was coming to an end. But he was at peace. He knew that he had fulfilled his mission, that he had spread the light he always believed in, and that the legacy of love and faith that began with his mother and was continued by Ana Clara was more alive than ever. On his deathbed, surrounded by friends, family, and many of those he had touched over the years, Gabriel prayed his last prayer, thanking God for all the blessings in his life. He closed his eyes and felt that familiar sense of warmth and peace, the same he had felt so many times in his life. And so, in the calm of a starry night, Gabriel left this world, leaving behind a legacy of love, faith, and light that would continue to shine through all those he had touched. That night, once again, a falling star crossed the sky, and everyone who saw it knew that Gabriel was now with Ana Clara, illuminating the sky as he had illuminated so many lives on earth. And so, the light of Gabriel's faith never went out, for it continued to shine in the hearts of everyone he touched, showing that even on the darkest nights, there is always a light to guide us. In the final years of his life, Gabriel continued to dedicate himself to his mission with fervor. The Stars of Hope project had grown exponentially, touching thousands of lives across the country. Children in hospitals, families in crisis, all found comfort and light in Gabriel's words and presence. He had become a national figure, but he always maintained the humility and simplicity that defined him. However, time takes its toll, and Gabriel, now over 80 years old, began to feel the weight of age. His health started to decline, and he was forced to reduce his activities. Yet, he never lost hope and continued to share his stories and prayers with those who visited him. One evening, as he rested in his bed, Gabriel felt a deep sense of peace. He knew his time on earth was coming to an end. He decided to call his closest friends, the volunteers of the project, and especially Lucas, who had become like a son to him, for one last gathering. In Gabriel's simple room, surrounded by the people he loved most, he began to speak, his voice still firm and full of love. "My dear ones, I have reached the end of my journey. But I am not sad. I am at peace, for I know that I leave this world better than I found it. The light we began together with Ana Clara and so many others continues to shine in each of you. You are the stars that spread hope in this world." Tears began to stream down the faces of those around him. Gabriel, always so strong, was now ready to depart, and they couldn't imagine life without him. Lucas held Gabriel's hand and said with a choked voice, "You have been a father to me, Gabriel. Everything I am, I owe to you. How can we continue without you?" Gabriel smiled, with a serenity that only faith can provide. "Lucas, my son, the light does not go out when the sun sets. It continues to shine in the stars, the moon, in every heart we have touched. My mission ends here, but yours is just beginning. Carry this light forward. Love as I have loved, have faith as I have had, and everything will be all right." The room was silent, only the soft sound of Gabriel's breathing filled the air. He looked at each person present, his eyes shining with a mix of farewell and gratitude. Remember, true faith is not believing that God will do everything as we want, but trusting that He always does what is best, even when we do not understand. "I am going home now, to the arms of my Father, but I will never stop being with you. Every time a star shines, remember that the light we planted here will never go out." With those words, Gabriel closed his eyes, his breathing softened, and he smiled one last time. A reverent silence filled the room as everyone felt the moment when Gabriel's soul left for eternity. That night, something magical happened. When Gabriel's friends left his house, they looked up at the sky and saw what seemed to be a shower of falling stars. It was as if the very heavens were celebrating Gabriel's arrival. The stars seemed to dance, illuminating the sky with a special light, a light that everyone knew was Gabriel, now free from his earthly body, guiding them from above. Gabriel's legacy continued through the Stars of Hope project, which expanded even further, reaching children and families all over the world. Lucas took over the leadership, always remembering Gabriel's words and keeping alive the flame of faith and love that he had kindled. And so, Gabriel's story didn't end with his death. It continued to inspire, to illuminate, to transform lives. The light he spread during his life multiplied, becoming a constellation of hope that shone in the hearts of all those he had touched. And Gabriel, the little light that began in the darkness of a winter storm, became an eternal star, shining in the sky and in the hearts of all of us. As we close this chapter of Gabriel's journey, remember that his light lives on in each of us. You, too, can be a beacon of hope in someone's life. Share this story with friends and family, and let it inspire them to spread kindness and faith wherever they go. Together, we can continue Gabriel's legacy, illuminating even the darkest corners of our world. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that uplift and inspire. Don't forget to like and share this video. It's through your support that we can reach even more hearts in need of light. You have the power to make a difference. Let's shine together. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Remember, you are blessed to be a blessing to others. May the peace and grace of God be with you always. Until next time, keep shining, and may your light guide others along their path.